Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, the UDF was disbanded in 1991, 22 years ago, after the unbanning of the political parties, including the ANC. Why was it important for you to relaunch it again last year?
Well, I think that for us today, 30 years later, we're having a celebration because the UDF is alive and kicking, and it's part of our society. Why it's back is because we, as part of the struggle, we fought for the Freedom Charter. And today, if we look back, we say that apartheid was about race, but it was also about rich and poor. And we only have focused on race over the last 20 years, and instead we've seen the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
I mean, look, one of your aims, and you've mentioned it now, is the Freedom Charter. You're talking about the fact that the focus was purely on race. What are some of the other objectives that you can tell us more about? Why are you relaunching? What are some of the other reasons?
Well, we've seen that the government has been strengthened, and the government lives a lavish life, while the people who vote for the government are suffering, and in my community, Manenberg, people are killing each other. Now, that is not something that we all struggled for, and we are saying that this culture of greed, of individualism, and everybody looking after themselves, and everybody fighting with each other must come to an end. We need to build a society where instead of crime, there's peace and friendship. Instead of greed, there's caring and sharing, and that is what we all struggled for. And we are saying it is time that the political parties must stop fighting with each other, because when they keep fighting with each other, they keep us focusing on them and their fights instead of focusing on the issue of the people. The gangs are fighting with each other. The government is fighting with the people. We are a nation at war with each other. And we are saying, can we please stop fighting? I would love to meet with the government, with the president, to hug him and to say, Comrade Zuma, we love you, but what you are doing is wrong. Can we please sit down and start talking about what is in the best interest of this country? Our greatest asset is the citizens of this country. Our greatest asset is not the government, it is the people. And can we ensure that instead of people living in abject poverty, can we turn the tide on that? Can we take our poor communities and turn them into flourishing, peaceful communities? That is our objective.
Mario, people could argue that it's quite noble what the new UDF will be fighting for. But the other side of that coin is that some of these notions are not new. They have been expressed by various leaders across the board, new political parties. How is the new UDF going to be different and implement the very things you just talked about?
Well, I think that the notion of the new UDF, I think we must take the word new away. We must talk about the UDF, because the UDF of today is no different to the UDF of the past. What we are saying is that we need to unite this country. We need to get the church bodies to come together. We need to get the sports bodies to come together, the schools, the arts and culture, the business. We need to sit together and say what is in the best interest of this country. How do we take the country forward? So the UDF is sticking to its mission of building unity. Unity across rich and poor, unity across faith sectors, unity, sports. Everybody needs to start speaking with one voice, and that is missing in the country. So the UDF is going to continue pushing the need for unity.
Mario, in the midst of that talk about unity, there has been opposition, though, to relaunching the UDF. Have you had chats, consults with some of the old original UDF activists and members?
Well, I think what is sad about the process is that the people who hold different views to us, like Comrade Trevor Manuel and others, they don't come and sit down with you and have a conversation. Instead, today at Rocklands, this morning, they are having a breakfast. This evening, they are having a dinner. Now, how can you plan a celebration of the UDF in the absence of actually saying, this is a people's organization, this is a people's movement. Let's do things the way the people did it. Let's rally the people, let's bring them together. But instead, we have people who are sitting in privileged position and determining what is in the best interest of the UDF. Our appeal to the ANC leaders is, please, can we sit down and have a conversation and say We are not enemies of each other. We are comrades of each other. Can we join hands?
Mario, we're going to leave it there. Interesting conversation with you, though. Thank you very much for joining us. That, of course, from our Cape Town studio was the UDF convener, Mario Wanza, talking to us about the relaunch of the UDF, which happened last year, and, of course, on the eve, or I should say on the day of the 30-year anniversary of the UDF.